Hello everyone, this is Desecrates and welcome to my Smite Lore Series. In this episode I'll be going into the actual history and mythology behind the Greek god Apollo. To start, Apollo is Roman and Greek. Unlike other gods in both pantheons, he shares the same name, Apollo. He is the god of archery, music, dance, truth and prophecy, healing and diseases, the sun and light, poetry, herds and flocks, knowledge and more, so quite a lot. Apollo is one of the most important and complex of the Greek gods. He is the son of Zeus and Leto and the twin brother of Artemis, goddess of the hunt. Seen as the most beautiful god and ideal athletic youth, Apollo is considered to be the most Greek of all of the gods. He is also the god of oracles and is a patron deity of Delphi, which you may have heard of the Oracle of Delphi. Apollo is the god who supplies help and wards off evil. Various sources call him the averter of evil. Delphic Apollo is the patron of seafarers, foreigners and the protector of fugitives and refugees. Medicine and healing are associated with Apollo. His son was Asclepius, the god of medicine. Apollo helped people in epidemics, yet he could also bring ill health and deadly plague with his arrows if he chose to. Apollo is also known for his ability to make children grow. As a protector of the young, Apollo concerns himself with the health and education of children. He presided over their passage into adulthood. When boys grew long hair, it would be cut at the coming of age and then be dedicated to Apollo. The invention of archery itself can actually be credited to Apollo and his sister Artemis. Apollo is usually described as carrying a golden bow and a quiver of silver arrows. Apollo is an important pastoral deity, meaning land for farming. He was the patron of herdsmen and shepherds. His primary duty was protection of herds, flocks and crops from diseases and getting rid of pests and predators. On the other hand, Apollo also encouraged founding new towns and the establishment of civil constitution. He is associated with dominion over colonists. He was the giver of laws and his oracles were consulted before setting laws in a city. Apollo presides over all music, songs, dance and poetry. He is the inventor of string music and the frequent companion of the muses, functioning as their chorus leader in celebrations. The lyre is a common attribute of Apollo. Now let's go into some of the stories behind Apollo. I may not cover every story, otherwise this video would be very long, but let's start with his birth. As I briefly mentioned earlier, Apollo is the son of Zeus and Leto, although Leto wasn't Zeus's wife, Hera was his wife. So when Hera discovered that Leto was pregnant, she banned her from giving birth on the earth beneath our feet. Leto sought shelter in many lands only to be rejected by them. Then the voice of unborn Apollo informed his mother about a floating island named Delos, which had once been the female titan Asteria, Leto's own sister. Since it was neither mainland nor an island, Leto was welcomed there and gave birth to her children under a palm tree. All the goddesses except Hera were present to witness the event. It is also believed that Hera kidnapped the goddess of childbirth to prevent Leto from going into labour. The other gods tricked Hera into letting her go by offering her a necklace of amber 9 yards or 8.2 meters long. When Apollo killed the serpent dragon named Python, he was exiled from Olympus and he served as a herdsman under Admetus, who at the time was young and unmarried. He was also a king. Apollo is said to have shared a romantic relationship with Admetus during his stay. After completing his years of servitude, Apollo went back to Olympus as a god. Because Admetus treated Apollo well, he conferred great benefits on him in return. Apollo's mere presence is said to have made cattle give birth to twins. Apollo also helped him to win the hand of the daughter of King Peleus by taming a lion and a boar to draw Admetus' chariot. When he angered the goddess Artemis by forgetting to give her the due offerings, Apollo came to the rescue and calmed his sister. When Apollo had learnt of his untimely death, he convinced or tricked the fates into letting Admetus live past his time. Another version is that Zeus struck down Apollo's son Asclepius with a lightning bolt for resurrecting Admetus. Apollo in revenge killed the Cyclops who had built the bolt for Zeus. Apollo would have been banished to Tartarus for this, but his mother Leto intervened, reminding Zeus of their old love, pleading him not to kill their son. Zeus agreed and once again sent Apollo to serve under Admetus. As a side note, throughout his life Apollo has had both male and female lovers. Immediately after his birth, Apollo demanded a lyre and invented a song or poem depicting triumph or thanksgiving, therefore becoming the god of music. Plato said that the innate ability of humans to take delight in music, rhythm and harmony is the gift of Apollo and the Muses. Apollo's harmonious music delivered people from their pain, and like Dionysus, he is also called the Liberator. The swans, which was considered to be the most musical of all the birds, were believed to be singers of Apollo. They are Apollo's sacred birds and acted as his vehicle during his travel to Hyperborea. The Hyperboreans were believed to be a race of giants. When the singers would sing hymns to Apollo, the swans would join the chant in unison. Among the followers of Pythagoras, the study of mathematics and music were connected to the worship of Apollo, their principal deity. Their belief was that the music purifies the soul just as medicine purifies the body. They also believed that music was delegated to the same mathematical laws of harmony as the mechanics of the cosmos, evolving into an idea known as the music of spheres. Apollo is often found delighting the immortal gods with his songs and music on the lyre. As the god of banquets, he was always present to play music in the weddings of the gods. He also participated in musical contests when challenged by others. He of course was the victor in all those contests, and he tended to punish his opponents severely for the audacity of challenging him, which shows an important lesson: don't challenge a god. Once a mortal named Pan was stupid enough to compare his music with that of Apollo, and to challenge the god of music to a contest. A mountain god was chosen as the judge. Pan blew on his pipe and with his rustic melody gave great satisfaction to himself and his faithful follower Midas, who happened to be present at the time. Then Apollo struck the strings of his lyre. It was so beautiful that the judge at once awarded the victory to Apollo, and everyone was pleased with the judgment. Only Midas questioned the justice of the award. Apollo did not want to suffer such a deprived pair of ears any longer, so he caused them to become the ears of a donkey. There was also a satyr who was punished by Apollo for challenging him. He had found an instrument on the ground that had been tossed away after being invented by Athena, because it made her cheeks puffy. Athena had also placed a curse on the instrument. Whoever picked it up would be severely punished. When the satyr played the flute, everyone became frenzied with joy. This led him to think that he was better than Apollo, and he challenged the god to a musical contest. The contest was judged by the muses. Athena was also present to witness the contest. The satyr taunted Apollo for having long hair, having a fair face, a smooth body, and for his skill in so many arts. The contestants agreed that the victor could do whatever they wanted to the loser. According to one account, they were deemed equal in the first round, but in the next round Apollo decided to play on his lyre and add his voice to the performance. The satyr was against this and accused him of cheating. Apollo replied that because the satyr plays the flute, which requires air blown from the throat, it was like singing. The judges agreed with Apollo. He then played his lyre, mesmerising the audience. Apollo was declared the winner, and being angered with the satyr, skinned the satyr alive. According to another account, the satyr played his flute out of tune at one point, and out of shame, he assigned himself the punishment of being skinned alive through a wine sack. Another account saying Apollo played his instrument upside down, and then ended up hanging the satyr from a tree and then skinning him. Apollo soon repented, and being distressed at what he had done, he tore the strings of his lyre and threw it away. The lyre was later discovered by the muses and two of Apollo's sons. The strings were fixed and brought back to Apollo, but the god, who had decided to stay away from music for a while, put away the lyre and the pipes at Delphi and started wandering to as far as Hyperborea. Now then, let's do a small comparison between the real life Apollo and the in-game Apollo. There are some major things, so let's get into it. To start, Smite simply says that Apollo is god of music. Of course they are technically correct, as he is the god of music, but he is also the god of so many other things, and is known to most for his archery and inventing archery. He is even described as having a golden bow and a quiver of silver arrows, and was given a bow at his birth. So even though Smite aren't wrong, I still feel like they really could have done more with that part of Apollo. Next, in-game it does say about Hera trying to stop Leto from giving birth to Apollo. It doesn't go into huge detail, but it at least mentions it. It goes into a bit more detail about how Apollo was a cattle herder when young. Hermes ended up stealing that cattle, and from the shell of a tortoise and the body of a cow made a lyre. Apollo saw the instrument and decided he must have it, so he traded all of his cattle for it. I mentioned the story about Pan challenging Apollo earlier. That is also mentioned in-game. Pan was also the son of Hermes, which it does also mention in-game. That is mainly all Smite says about Apollo. Like I said earlier, they technically aren't wrong about him, but I do believe that they really missed out on a lot of potential for him. Even ability-wise, I think they could have done something, maybe like multiple stances, like have one for music and another for archery, like they have done with quite a few other gods in the game. I know this has been a longer video, so thank you everyone for watching episode 2 of my Smite Lore series. If you enjoyed watching and would like to see more, remember to subscribe and to like the video. I also stream on Twitch if you wanted to watch me play live. Links will be below.